Robert Ory, we got Brez here, we got Allie and Trudell working the post game. The Lakers lose back-to-back games for the first time this year. Pistons' second worst team in the league. They had their worst loss of the year last night, so both teams were on a back-to-back. Outscored in the fourth quarter, 25-14. Rob, how about this? Something you were saying right before it came on. 34 points in the second half for Lakers. That's the lowest point total of the year.
That's low.
That's low.
Very low. But you know, the thing about it is, I think, James, you and I had more energy in your James on Fire segment than the Lakers had all night.
Might I say the James on Fire segment, the pregame show, was Emmy Award winning.
Hell yeah, we could have gone out there
Might just roll that tonight.
Oh, we should. But you got to think about this. This is the one time Bad Cop Rob is not going to come out because they've been on a road trip. And it's hard during COVID. You know, you get a kind of a stymie. You can't leave the hotel. You can't do anything. You know, I could say a little laziness kind of creeps in. And you can't help it because you're just stuck in this hotel not doing anything. So they don't have that energy and that effort. And they're missing AD. So there's a lot of things going against them tonight. So, Bad Cop Rob is not even mad tonight.
Big game?
There are two things. Yeah, it's an embarrassing loss, obviously.
Yeah.
But, two things. Every night is going to be a big night for whoever the Lakers are playing. Detroit, the worst record. But when the Lakers come to town, it's show and tell. It's time to show out on them. Also, you have to realize, regardless of Detroit's record, they're still professional NBA players. They got here by being really good. It's just not working out as a team and individually. Guys like Wayne Ellington tonight hitting threes. And once they saw that the Lakers were going to let them hang around, because I think most underrated teams, they wait for the big punch to knock them out. That never happened. And so Detroit felt like they could, stay in the game. They thought they could win. Griffin hitting threes, Plumlee, exercising his talent out there. So it's an ugly loss. But I agree with Rob, man. This is an unusual season coming out of the bubble into something else kind of messy. And I just think subconsciously they probably thought they were going to beat the Pistons. Resting AD, thought they could get away with it. But Detroit showed up to play tonight, and the Lakers couldn't overcome. I mean, we know that's not the Lakers. 34 points in the second half. And
interestingly enough, big game. It was kind of the way for me that second quarter ended. Lakers were up 57-50. It seemed to have some life. They're actually shooting a great percentage. They were shooting 60% from three, 9 of 15 at the time. And then missed a bunny, and Pistons went on a 6-0 run, and that game kind of changed in that last minute, and the Pistons came out on fire. And the Lakers from that point on only made 2 threes the rest of the game. I mean, Wayne Ellington and Blake Griffin had 11 threes between them. Yeah. Lakers as a team had 12, and just the 34 points in the second half. It's interesting. It was 87-88 with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in that fourth quarter. THT hit a 3. The Lakers didn't score again for what seemed like 2 hours.
I know.
It was 7 minutes. And in that time, the Pistons went on a 14-0 run. And I think we're just used to LeBron doing what he does every single fourth quarter. He only had 2 points in the second half. He had 0 in the fourth.
The thing about it is, we realize
it's got to be other people.
Yeah, LeBron is human. And sometimes when you have nights like this, James said it earlier, you got to go to that bench. You got THT who can come with some energy. You got Trez. You got all these guys that can come with some energy because your big dog LeBron has more years. Pretty much he has more playoff games than anybody on that team has games. So you got to say he's going to have those nights where he just didn't have it or just doesn't have it. And you have to go to the bench. You can't be afraid. As a coach, I wouldn't want to be in this position because how do you tell one of the best players ever played this game, go sit down? It's hard because, he has a competitive spirit. He wants to be out there. But sometimes you got to go to the other guys. Those guys can come with it and bring a little energy and rest a little more. So I think this is one of those nights where you really needed your bench.
But I think it's hard as a coach. Like, when do you think that time is, right? I mean, LeBron's been so good in the fourth quarters. You're starting him in the fourth, right?
You got to roll the dice.
14 in the first quarter.
You got to roll the dice and say, okay, LeBron, what do you think?
Well, what about THT? And we saw Kuz tonight get the start for AD, and he had 22. We talk a lot about Kuz when he does get the start and he gets the shot attempts. Last night it's 4. Tonight it's 17. He ends up with 22 points. It's simple math, right? THT getting some run. James, I'm telling you, man, you watch this kid play, and I know we've talked a lot about it. He's got something, and everyone knows it. And he's 20 years old. he is knocking on the door for more minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone in that rotation
tonight
ahead of him better be looking.
Tonight would have been the night I would have played him 30 plus.
Yeah, he had that energy going tonight.
My college coach, and I don't know if Rob's did it, but every now and then when the starters weren't playing well, he'd take the whole starting five out and put in a blue team, what he called a blue team. And he just let them play for 3 or 4 minutes, pass the ball, play hard defense, then he'd let the guys go back in. So I agree with that he should go to the bench. But Tucker, it's going to be hard not to play him because he really does come in the game, and he's a game changer because he can score, he can defend, he can knock down the three. So, he's a player that's, I'm sure he's getting it done in practice when they get to practice, but he's the man to minutes.
He reminds me. He reminds me of this guy I played with back in '98, '99. He had all this energy, but Dale Harris was holding him back, and when he got there, he was just putting up numbers. Talking about Kobe Bryant. I'm not saying he is going to be Kobe Bryant, but he reminds me of this guy that's young, has a lot of talent, but the coaches are seemingly holding him back. But when they do let him out there, he does these extraordinary things, and he goes out and plays extremely well. So, and I know it's hard because you're looking down that line like, whose minutes does he take?
Yeah.
It's,
Wes,
what do you do? Yeah, but you got to, I think you just got to sometimes let the young fella go out there and play and let him learn, because if you really think about it, he's not making any mistakes.
Yeah.
He's going to the hole, he's scoring easily, he's getting to the free throw line, and there's nothing he's doing wrong but being young. That's the only thing.
Yeah, and listen, on a regular night, Frank's got decisions. There's 11 guys that he can play. He's doing a great job of getting everyone in. It's hard.
It's hard.
He's got to recognize. I think a coach's job is hard. If a guy's in a slump, you want to allow him to get out of it. But I thought, like tonight, like Pope was not there mentally. He was frustrated. He had that foul, that flagrant foul. He wasn't getting the calls that he thought he could get, and he got frustrated. That would have been a time I would have said, look, Tucker, go get him, make something happen, give him some minutes. You gotta. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But you gotta. I saw that Pope wasn't really, himself, and so it's hard. But Tucker's got to play. He's one of those players that's on the bench that you can't say he's young. We got him in development stage. No, he's ready now.
He's ready.
I always appreciate LeBron's ability to play every single night. His minutes the last 3 nights, 39, 38, 36.
It's a lot.
He was playing 29, 30. It's a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a lot of minutes.
And that's where your bench has to come through. Other players got to pick up the scoring.
Yeah, and
can't
plus,
just be LeBron
you also, as a coach, you have someone sitting there and telling you the minutes. And you have to be big enough to go, LeBron says, dude, you over your limit. Go sit down. And that's important. I think LeBron also has to understand that it's the journey, not the sprint they're doing right now.
I want to ask you guys this before we get to the highlights. Something that was just glaring tonight. There's no AD, right? So we talk about the lack of rim protection. Only 1 block tonight. Only 2 steals tonight. And when you're a Pistons team and you see no AD and you see what the Lakers are, the size, you attack.
Yeah, totally affected them on both ends of the court.
Yeah.
On defense, they had no fear. I mean, Marcus Gasol's not a shot blocker. Neither is Trez. We had no shot blockers tonight, so they felt very comfortable on the defense.